Thanks for watching NBC2. I'm Kyla Gayler.
Neighbors. The red car over here.
Red out here. There's
before has a man of on what stage do we in the wake of 2 mass shootings? Different Las Vegas Strip. Right now.
Happened at the location on a historic day in Washington. Raise the duplex 5 feet. Another idea of what downtown in front of me. For anybody listening in, yeah, we've traded in the comfortable AC to the split. So take a look.
Hi everyone, thanks for being here tonight. We've got a lot in store for you. Really excited. I'll be your host for the evening. My name is Kyla Gayler. So tonight we of course are here to celebrate an extraordinary teacher and really a true visionary in the world of media education. After more than 4 decades of shaping young minds and inspiring generations of students, Mr. Ed McDonough is finally retiring. You are going to hear from a wide range of students, colleagues, and community members who have all been positively impacted by the TV programs here in Canton, and more specifically, of course, Mr. McDonough. He would have loved for each and every one of you to be a part of this program and come up here and speak tonight. Thankfully, I said no, because we would seriously be here all night. I've been working, pretty closely with Mr. McDonough over the last couple of weeks planning tonight's event, and I'm glad I waited until last night to write this part of the speech. Gave me a lot more material to work with, but this is a retirement banquet, not a roast. So I graduated from Canton High School in 2011. 4 years later, after graduating from UMass Amherst, I landed my first big job as a news reporter. Well, technically multimedia journalist, where you do the job of 2 people, but you only get paid for 1. Really good stuff. I was so proud, though, to be in Colorado Springs, my first market, top 90 for my first job. Well, technically, I was in Pueblo, Colorado for the first year working in a bureau. That's where they put the newbies who, aren't really that good enough to be at the main station. So they're like, okay, we're just going to put you over there. A little less news going on, just to be safe. But hey, you got to start somewhere, right? And don't ever forget that. After learning a lot and proving myself, I was hired at a station in Las Vegas. And there I was able to focus on more investigative journalism, which earned me 3 Emmy Awards. Then I moved to Fort Myers, Florida, where I became a full-time anchor. I earned my 4th Emmy Award just last year after anchoring more than 3 hours of nonstop news after a plane crashed on an interstate. When people ask me how I got into this career, which is kind of niche, I always say the same thing. I was lucky. Lucky that I had a passion at such a young age and I knew what I wanted to do. And lucky that I went to a high school that provided the resources and opportunities to explore that passion. After a decade of working in news, I can assure you it is not for the faint of heart, but it is so rewarding. And I'm not talking about just the actual awards. In an age where information moves at lightning speed, where facts and opinions seem to blur together, and where the truth is often obscured by noise, journalism, real journalism, remains one of the most vital pillars of democracy, accountability, and public trust. It's not a perfect system. I mean, what is, really? But I believe in it. And we need people who believe in the power of words and images to inform, educate, and inspire. And I'm proud to say Mr. McDonough's class was that launching pad for me. He has been a mentor, a guide, and for many, the reason they discovered their passion for media. He didn't just teach students how to work a camera or edit a segment for school days. He taught them how to tell a story, how to think critically, and how to find their voice. So as we reflect on the incredible TV and film program here at Canton High, We also have to acknowledge Ernie St. Jean, an educator and a true pioneer. He created the school's first television studio and courses. Students learn firsthand how to broadcast and create televised productions. He walked so Mr. McDonough could run. May he rest in peace. Now it is Mr. McDonough's turn to pass the torch, which is why we are also pleased to announce the launch of the Canton High Media Network. So right now, at this moment, there are more than 75 professionals from Canton working in the industry, all over the country too. Some of them flew in here tonight, yeah. It is really impressive when you take a moment to think about it. So this network of sorts will provide even more connections and resources for alumni. So as we celebrate the end of one chapter, we recognize the beginning of another. Our first speaker of the night is credited for sparking Mr. McDonough's creativity and passion for video production many, many years ago. After getting laid off from Canton High in the 80s, she started selling videos from a mom and pop shop. So when sales, though, started to decline with the popularity of Blockbuster, and if you don't know what that is, you're too young to be here, she had the foresight to start selling computers. And these weren't just any computers. I mean, these were computers installed with one of the first video editing softwares. Mr. McDonough, who was already a customer, later got a deal on one of those floor models, and the rest is history. She went on to start a professional organization helping high school media teachers and is now on the board of Canton Community Television. Please welcome Jan Haughey.
So Ed, who would have ever thought? Thanks, Kyla, for the intro. Cover quite a bit of the territory I was planning on covering here, and that, yes, I moved to Massachusetts to take a job right here in Canton High School. But unlike Ed's very long and distinguished career, mine was very short. It began in 1978, but just 3 years later, that thing called Proposition 2.5 changed my career trajectory, and the rest is history. But in hindsight, that turned out to be a stroke of luck for both Ed and I. That career took that shift to the video rental store, lights, camera, action, in Norwood. And then in time, it did change to LCA Computer and Video. And this kind of geeky, kind of nice, didn't quite know what to make of him teacher kept showing up. He was a teacher of art in the North Cambridge Catholic High School, and we began to know him as our customer, Ed McDonough. He was a Norwood native, so it was kind of convenient that we were just down the street when the Commodore Amiga and the NewTek video toaster, blast from the past, Commodore Amiga, should be where Apple is today, but that's another story for another time. And this NewTek toaster ended up, Ed was like a kid in a candy store. He saw the potential. These tools could revolutionize video production and education at a fraction of the cost of a traditional studio. One problem. Ed was an underpaid educator, and this equipment was coming out of his own pocket. Some things never change. So we struck a deal, and a floor model was for sale, and we pulled it together, and he took it home. He was off to the races. Ed's story is one of building and nurturing networks, and so it's only fitting that my connections at Canton High played a role in his journey. I had stayed in touch with some former colleagues and heard about an opening in the video program, Ernie St. Jean's, and it was clear this was going to be a perfect fit for Ed. So in 2001, history began. End of story? Of course not. Ed doesn't just make opportunities, he expands them. He kept in touch, built more bridges, and continued to reach out. Meanwhile, I'd sold my business and had taken a position at Crimson Tech in Cambridge, specializing in Amiga and NewTek sales. and primarily in education and the cable access markets. The deeper I got into this industry, the more I realized that educators like Ed, spread across school districts, had no professional network of their own. That led to the creation of Video Educators of New England, and Ed was involved from day one. He hosted Video Educators of New England events here at this school and helped shape conference topics, speakers, and even traveled to St. Louis a couple of times to attend Dave Davis's broadcast camp for teachers. But this is Ed we're talking about. So naturally, he didn't just attend, he helped bring a Dave Davis camp to New England for teachers here. That's the kind of guy Ed is. Still, not the end of the story. I'd always admired the immersive learning experiences Ed provided his students, but it hit closer to home when I had an opportunity to serve as a chaperone to one of those many trips to the STN, Student Television Network competitions. Some of you on that trip, I think, are in the audience tonight, so I'm glad we got you there and back. And Maureen Dickey was my partner in crime for that trip. We made sure Ed made it back, too. Wow, I was blown away. The level of talent, the professionalism of the students, the intensity of the competition was incredible. I know those former students here tonight, you might have an opportunity to speak about that later. I'll leave those stories for you to tell. We really don't know what happened after lights out. But I will say this, Ed's passion for video education didn't just impact his students, it inspired those around him, myself included. When Tanya Willow asked if I'd be interested in serving on this local cable board, it was because of Ed and you students, I said yes. So Ed, thank you. Thank you for always asking, always exploring, always innovating. Thank you for being there for your students, your colleagues, and your community. Your passion and dedication have left a lasting legacy, and we're all the better for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. The next Canton High alum has been coined the godmother of the Canton High Media Network. She understands the true spirit of paying it forward. Here's a special message from Marianne Franco.
I grew up in Canton, and I moved to Los Angeles in 1990. That's a long time ago. And I've had a great career. I'm so fortunate. I was a film loader, and then I ran Paramount Pictures camera department for the longest time, 15 years. And then I became a camera operator. And now I work on shows like The Connors and Night Court and Lopez versus Lopez and The Neighborhood. I walk onto a studio lot every time I'm working, and I just pinch myself still. 25, 30 years later, I am pinching myself that I am doing what I love to do. And I really encourage you all to do the same. I remember one day I was working on a set. I forget which one. It might have been Austin and Ally, a Disney show. Anyway, my friend came onto the set and he said, oh, I talked to some kids from Canton High last night. And I said, what? I'm from Canton. What is this? And he said, oh yeah, a guy named Ed McDonough called me because I know Chippy. He's my cousin, my Chippy Yaton. And so you better believe I got on the phone in 2 seconds and I said, Ed McDonough, who are you? And why aren't you calling me to talk to the kids? I'm born and raised and I care. I love it there. And so he did. And the next year he came out and we got together and it was just fantastic. I took the kids all around on a tour of a studio. We talked, we looked at all their projects. We analyzed them from sound to editing to cinematography to writing. And it was just such a great time. And I met John Cortizo, who's now a very successful Canton High grad. And he has paid this forward to a lot of people, which makes me real happy. And I hope if anybody helps you guys that you pay it forward as well, because that's what this mafia is all about. That's what I call it. Ed calls it a network, which is much more professional. So anyway, if anybody needs help, anybody wants to call or write, Ed has my number, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. But you really don't need to come to Los Angeles anymore unless you want this beautiful, beautiful weather. Look at this. You want to come for this kind of weather and you want to work in entertainment law or anything like that, this is the place to be. But you really can shoot anywhere you want in the world now. And that's been great about streaming. Good luck to you graduating seniors. I have one piece of advice. Be a solution. We are human beings who are supposed to problem solve. So be the solution in your own life. And then when you get your first job, be the solution at that job. Trust me, it's going to take you so far if you just remember to not present problems, but present solutions no matter what.
Such good advice. You always want to be a solution and not a problem. Your bosses will appreciate you much more, promise me. All right, our next speaker landed his first gig with the help of that godmother you just heard from. It's another example of the power of networking and mentoring. He's a Brooklyn-based director and producer. He's worked as a camera assistant on shows like The Good Wife and has shot for a number of different publications, including Elle Magazine, Cosmo, Harper's Bazaar, and Esquire. And what's really cool about him is that the production company he started in 7th grade is still up and running today. So the media passion starts young here in Canton. Please welcome John Cortizo.
Howdy. Thanks for having me, everybody. The last time I was here, I was 18. And the great difference was I didn't have trouble breathing crossing this stage. As you get older, you get fat for no reason. I work out all the time, but I'm fat. That's just how it is. When you're 18, they don't tell you that. Kids, you're a string bean now, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's just life. So, with that, I pay great respect to all the teachers I had back then. Mr. McDonough, of course, the star of this evening, Mr. Bartasek, and anybody else in this room I can't see who brought me up. In all sincerity, thank you very much. I did not understand how difficult that task was as a kid. I was impossibly lucky to have Mr. McDonough. I received a college-level education as a public high school student at no cost to my family, and that is no exaggeration. I was 15 years old, and by that time, I was connected to the Hollywood system. Miss Franco. She was giving me feedback on my movies. I had no family or friends connected to the business. There's no reason why I should have been connected at that age, but for Mr. McDonough's dedication to his kids and folks like Miss Franco who were willing to speak to us. So thank you, first and foremost. Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from that era is the importance of how you relate to people. I'd say the most obvious takeaway from being in his class was the hard skill set you acquired at that age. I mean, I was 14 years old learning how to edit on professional editing software. I was learning how to shoot as would a professional director of photography. I was learning wide, medium, tight, cutaway, all of this jargon and language that you really don't need to know until at the earliest you get to film school at the college level, but really you don't need to know that until you become professional in your 20s. I was learning that as a 14-year-old. So by the time I had gotten to Emerson, I already had a hard skill set that was what I would have gotten had I not started film production until I was a freshman in college. But despite all that, I would say how you relate to people and how you invest in people is the great gem in the rough of his class. There are lots of people who can do what we do. There are lots of people who can pull focus or produce a film or shoot or light or record sound or whatever it is. But the thing that gets you called back is how you relate to people, how you train people, how you receive direction from your advisors. Do you belittle them and being defensive when they ask you for stuff, or do you take it all in? Do you belittle the people below you, or do you teach? those are the things that stuck with me as a student. And it's beyond the curriculum. It's just, it came down to how he treated people, plain and simple. He was an honorable guy, and it came through in how he taught people. And you could say the same thing for Mr. Bartasek and many of the other teachers here, but how he treated people is what stuck with me more than anything. And it informs how I live my life day to day more than anything as well. So with great thanks, I tip my hat to you, Mr. McDonough, and all the other educators here. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Dog Pound. My name is Dan Sheehy, and we have the most wonderful show for you today. With us in the studio,
I'm stealing Drew's seat on the set of the Drew Barrymore show in New York to say thank you.
Ooh, he was tall. Well, it's no surprise that this next Canton High alum went on to work for NBC News, and as you just saw in that video, the Drew Barrymore show in New York City. His creativity and video production skills have stood out from a young age. Here to talk about his incredible accomplishments and the power of student-run programming, please welcome Dan Sheehy.
Thanks, guys. We have a lot of great orders here, so I will keep my thanks a bit brief. Mr. McDonough's classroom is like a trade school. Non-traditional classroom learning, hands-on, tangible, immersive experience in a public high school setting. Want to learn how a television show is made? You can try it. Want to make movies? Try it. And if you have no interest in any of that, that's no problem, because the skills of this program, collaboration, communication, technological literacy, hands-on project management, these are all useful in all aspects of life. As an 8th grader, when I toured CHS, I knew I wanted to see the TV studio. My grandmother, who I'm very thankful we can see there in that clip, she worked in television, and I wanted to know how all that worked. Every single aspect of it interested me. Today, I'm a proud union member, a DGA associate director, as well as a script supervisor, working daily with household names and titans of industry. I'm the tangible result of Mr. McDonough's unwavering support, a dedication extended not just to me, but to each and every student who passed through his classroom. And now, there are some of us here this evening who don't visit Canton very often. Some of us have skipped high school reunions. Admittedly, some of us might have even forgotten some of our teachers. But tonight is one that we would not miss for any reason. If an important measurement of success of education is career path and employment, then here we are celebrating the most successful teacher in the history of the town of Canton. We live in a time when education has found itself a political issue. So I encourage leaders of the community here with us tonight, or of course watching on Canton Community Television, to remember these festivities in the years to come. Remember those local, those who traveled from afar, to thank their impactful teacher. So congratulations, Mr. McDonough. Your career may be at its end, but your legacy has only just begun. Thank you.
So our next speaker helped produce that powerful teenage PSA you just watched while he was still a student here. Since graduating, though, he's become an internationally awarded photographer and videographer. He's traveled and worked in over 20 countries, shooting everything from nature photography to high-end fashion to music videos and more. This past year, he lived in India, co-directing a documentary following a stand-up comedian's rise to fame in the face of centuries-old discrimination. Please welcome Mike NOONE.
We're with you in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Mr. McDonough! Congratulations, man. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for you. I gotta admit, when I was first asked to do a speech, I got nervous because I know a man like Mr. McDonough is gonna have a big show out for this type of event, and I was not wrong. There's a lot of people here celebrating you, Mr. McDonough. Then I thought about the stuff that I had to talk about and the stuff I had to try to convey, and I got much more relaxed because everybody in here already knows what kind of a man you are. You wear it in the way that you walk into every room, the genuineness, the inspiration that you walk with. The enthusiasm, always coming with a smile. Just not enough can be said about your attitude, and that's why everybody in here already knows what kind of a guy you are. I just think back on my career and the path that I've taken to come here, and I was shocked at how many turns had been impacted by you. Even today, it's 10 years out of high school, I'm working at Boston College doing their sports broadcast camera operator. I'm a camera operator, yeah, and you know, we had Eye in the Sky here preparing me for that. Coil and Cable prepared me for that. I didn't get a job for 5 to 10 years after in it, but I still have those skills because of you. You know, when I first was a freshman and came in here, you pushed to have me come on that STN trip out to Los Angeles, and that changed the course of my life in and of itself. They hadn't had freshmen on that trip beforehand, but you made the extra effort to have me come. And then sure enough, that's where I chose to spend 3 years of my life studying out there. I went to get my film degree. 3 semesters in, though, I was like, Mr. McDonough already taught me all this, so I just dropped out of that. You know, from there, I was a sophomore. I brought you this silly at-home video that I had made with my brother Joe, him trying to steal some cookies. And I was just showing it to you because it's like, you know, oh, look at what I did. But you took it a step further and actually pushed me to submit it to places. The Hockomock Film Festival was my first award I've ever won. And I wasn't even going to have submitted that if it weren't for you. So that really showed me, like, I can actually do something with these, you know, videos and with this passion that I have. Jump forward to senior year, and we're doing our final project. We were going to do a 3-minute piece on one of our classmates and friends, Matty Marconi. He got the opportunity with Coach Schumann to have a shift on the varsity hockey team, and we made a 3-minute short film on that event. But, you know, we got a couple minutes in and realized this is going to have to be something much bigger. And one of the things you do, and that any great educator does, is you give room for people to grow. So when we came to you and said, we need this to be much bigger, we need more time on this project, you gave it to us without question. And that resulted in a 30-minute long documentary that was, you know, shown in Ireland, Los Angeles, and not in student film festivals either. We were students, but these were in legitimate film festivals. So just to see that for myself and to have you have pushed us to achieve that really showed me how far I can take it. And now I'm taking it further and further. So I give all the credit to you. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your night. Thank you.
Oh, hey, did you see Mr. McDonough's retiring?
I didn't get anything.
Really? I mean, you're on the email list.
Probably went to my spam folder or something.
Oh. You think we should do something? Maybe record some of the things that we learned in his class?
Sure, yeah. I think I remember a few things, but it's been like 20 years.
10 count was a thing, right?
I think so, but I don't think we need it.
What are you doing? You gotta move over. We gotta do the rule of thirds.
Why don't we just do the rule of halves and put everything in the dead center?
Hey, you think we need any B-roll?
I don't think so. I think our A-roll should be just fine. You can put some random B-roll to make it look like we know what we're doing.
Hey, this is good enough, right?
Didn't Mr. McDonough teach you how to do the over-under technique?
What's that? Hey, you got anything to white balance?
Yeah, got this piece of paper.
All right, can you just hold it up to the camera?
Sure.
All right, and just click, and we're done. Man, this camera is terrible. You know someone who might have a better one?
I could call Billy Titus, but I don't think he remembers us.
Hey, Mr. McDonough said we can't make music during class.
I know, I just made this banger of a track, though. I think I might become a DJ. Watch the Celtics as they take on the Heat tonight on FSN New England.
What are you doing?
I'm recording my FSN Fancaster audition tape.
Well, that's for high school kids.
I want to know if I still got it.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough, for showing me the world of film and television. I honestly signed up for TV productions because my friends did as well. But your passion for the arts and your love of teaching kept my lazy 16-year-old self engaged. Some of my favorite high school memories are helping out the CHS Hall of Fame tribute to Paul Therian and making sweet soundtracks on Soundtrack while pretending to do schoolwork. Though I never pursued a career in film, your teachings are still ingrained in me. I can still wrap cables up nice and neatly. I know how to properly remove a LaCie external hard drive without setting it on fire. And I continue to point out to non-film people every discontinuity in every movie or show that we watch together. Just know that I'm teaching in your stead. Congratulations on a well-deserved retirement. I can't wait to critique you on the sequel. Was that good?
Yeah, that was pretty good. You done?
Oh, yeah.
It's my turn. Let's go.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough, for introducing me to a world I never expected to learn on my own. I've always been a fan of film and media, even before high school, but I never thought I would do some of the cooking behind the scenes. You were always enthusiastic, passionate, knowledgeable about the work that you do, to the point where you inspired other people that had no intention of pursuing a media production degree. It certainly worked for me, which is why my 400 plus hours of community service was solely done through some of the side projects you introduced me to. Although I didn't pursue a career in TV production, it was a close second, and I enjoyed every minute of the time I spent on those projects. Thank you for having a significant impact in my life, being an extraordinary teacher, and constructing a creative outlet for me, especially when other classes at the time were not nearly as interesting. Congratulations on your retirement. I wish you the best on your new spin-off series. I hope your final wrap, final cut, and credits roll many decades from now.
Is that everything? Got all the clips?
Should be good. Just need to hit render. Should take 18 hours.
What? All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Our next speaker says she remembers the exact moment when she realized TV production would be her community, all thanks to Mr. McDonough. And she wasn't even in high school yet at that moment. She is now a New York City-based independent filmmaker who also works in production operations for film festivals. Please welcome RONNIE ROLSGROVE.
Okay. Whew, I'm a little nervous, had to dance it out. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm so honored to be back in the CHS auditorium, celebrating a teacher and program that has made the biggest impact on my life. I want to start off by saying I am wearing a CHS Film varsity jacket. No, they were not school issued. I had it made myself. I thought we needed jackets. I had jackets made, and that's just what we were doing at 15. Okay, so I'm here to talk about how I believe Mr. McDonough was Canton High School's greatest talent scout during his tenure. Now, as was previously mentioned, I first met Ed as an 8th grader. I attended that fateful CHS open house with my parents, not really knowing what to expect. The second I wandered into the TV classroom, it was so over, you guys, so over. I met the ever-enthusiastic Ed McDonough, who gave us a tour. I got to see the cameras, the control board, the eye in the sky, which we all know and love. And I vaguely remember, I think the CHS lip dub was playing on a TV in the background, and I was like, oh, I gotta do that, this is amazing. Shout out lip dub people. Anyway, I was sold. And as a middle schooler, my filmmaking was a completely solo venture. Occasionally, I roped in some friends or siblings into making videos with me. Otherwise, it was me, my camcorder, a green sheet I hung up in the basement, and Sony Vegas editing software. Shout out if you remember that. But you can't make movies alone forever. That one-off 8th grade open house was a pivotal moment in my life. I wasn't just walking into a room of professional equipment. I was walking into a room that would hold my closest community and greatest mentor of my high school years. Ed is uniquely suited to sniffing out the passion within each student and empowering them to explore that passion through media. Lost my place. Even more, Ed is a true steward of community. Oh, God. Students of all backgrounds participated, whether you found your way into the TV program through your love of sports, your love of film, or maybe you just needed the community service hours. Thanks to Ed, the program had space for anyone and everyone to build confidence. And let me just say, this was no easy feat, okay? Mr. McDonough was able to recruit students to film thousands of hours of basketball, volleyball, even wrestling, that wasn't my favorite, until 9 p.m. after school. We were here so late, you guys. It was a lot. And his only bribes he had for us was some D&E pizza, 2 liters of room temperature Pepsi, and a chance to operate cameras, okay? He was not working with a lot, okay? But we did that. Yeah, give it up, give it up. Shout out Eye in the Sky. But we showed up week after week because we loved being together and working on that shared goal of supplying Canton community television with premium high school sports coverage. Give it up, yeah. We're still doing it to this day. People need to watch our games. Okay, so though I'm very early in my career in the film industry, class of 2017, people, okay, I found that Eye in the Sky is not so different from working on film sets, film festivals, or at production companies. We work long hours with all types of personalities and all types of locations, rain or shine. But we do it for the craft. We do it for the community. And with this community, we find more than just job opportunities. We find creative collaborators, mentors, friends, sometimes roommates, the occasional arch nemesis. You know who you are. And ultimately, through this community, we find ourselves. Okay, cheesy. So tonight, I just want to say a major thank you to Mr. McDonough. It's so bright, but I do see you. And I want to thank you so much for empowering me to follow my dreams of being a filmmaker. I don't know, like, I would have never pursued this if it wasn't for you. So I want to thank you and congratulate you for your much-deserved retirement. And now, as you've all heard from the beginning of this, it's up to us to follow his example and carry on this incredible creative community. Thank you.
I'm so excited to send in this video because I get to say thank you and I get to say congratulations to the legend himself, Mr. Ed McDonough.
You were really the most influential teacher in my high school experience.
Hard work, dedication, and drive. Those are the 3 most important things I ever took away from the class.
It was really one of the first opportunities I had to gain exposure to the ins and outs of the media industry.
You sparked my love for film production.
I thank you for all of the time and passion you inspired into me to do creative things and create film.
To be able to have the livelihood I have today working, in Los Angeles, in the industry, thank you. I really cannot express enough how many lessons I learned about being a leader, being a delegator, being an editor.
We founded the Road to Madness podcast in 2020. Unfortunately, a few months in, the COVID pandemic hit.
And it actually worked out really well because we both go to different universities and COVID allowed us to continue to make episodes. We've now done over 300 with the guidance of Mr. McDonough.
TV class was so important to me that when we were getting our schedule set up in senior year, it turned out that the senior TV class was only available during the time of the level of math I was in. But luckily I had a math test coming up, so I went in there and I tanked that sucker on purpose, brought my scores to my parents and said, hey, having a real tough time with math these days. I think I could benefit from dropping down a level. So I did that, was able to get into my TV class, and have never once regretted that decision.
Whether it was learning how to use the Steadicam for the lift up, or your just overall guidance with the Matty Marconi documentary, none of it could have happened without your help and encouragement.
Thank you for pushing us to be our best selves and for helping us develop the skills and confidence we need to succeed in this industry.
Ed never takes himself too seriously. I remember one day he was rushing around trying to get things done, and he was on his phone in the hallway while he was walking, and he walked into a wall or something, and he retold this story, including the fact that he went to the office to see if he could get the videotape from the hallway cameras so he could see how ridiculous he looked on his phone while he was running around.
You've sent some of your best and brightest to Curry over the years, to our Milton campus. The legacy that you leave behind across this country and in broadcasting in general, unbelievable.
You've been a staple and an inspiration for so many students over the years. Have been a key figure that has led many of us to where we are today. So thank you for everything you've done, for all the students you've inspired over your many years as an educator, a mentor, and an icon.
We truly cannot repay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, Mr. McDonough, how's your head? Hopefully you've recovered. You gotta look up when you're walking. This next speaker chased his dreams to Los Angeles. Well, San Diego, but close enough. He doesn't work in TV, film, or entertainment, but he uses the skills he learned from TV class every day. He didn't even fly back for his 20th high school reunion, but he came back for this. So I think that tells you everything you need to know about the impact Mr. McDonough had on him. Please welcome Mike Brown.
All right. Yeah, this is the awkward part of the show because I do not have a career in television. But I think I was one of Mr. McDonough's first students. I graduated in 2003, and being here tonight, you know, I couldn't be more proud. This is such a crazy production, and let's get the crowd warmed up again. Let's give a round of applause for the crew and everyone that put this together. Mr. McDonough definitely had an impact on my life, so I'm going to say some words about him, the man, and kind of what he's done for me, and I suppose all of my classmates and fellow alumni. So it is an honor to be here tonight celebrating the retirement of someone who had such a meaningful impact on my life and everyone in this room. When Coach Tom emailed me the invite for this event, I was both excited and honored. Even though I live across country, as you guys heard, I booked a flight as soon as I heard about this. Mr. McDonough deserves his flowers, and I'm happy to be here to help present them alongside you folks. And the millions and millions of people watching worldwide on live stream and cable and wherever else this is going. I messaged Mr. McDonough on LinkedIn to let him know I was coming and that I was excited. He then did something completely unexpected. He asked me to speak about my era. I really think that just might be to speak about the older generation of students. But I wasn't just excited and honored, I was completely humbled. There are so many talented people who came out of his class from that period, many who are much more worthy of speaking up here than me, but it was an offer I couldn't refuse, and I jumped at the chance. So many great memories flooded my mind instantly. It was like replaying a favorite movie, one you revisit to lift your spirits and inspire your imagination. It's an older movie, of course, before the time of CGI or AI, but it was definitely a classic. If I had to pick a genre, I'd say it was a comedy, as Mr. McDonough's hilarious, thanks to the laughter and levity. But beneath the surface, it really was a story about personal growth and transformation. When I think back to high school, one of the most significant experiences I had was being part of the class where we created something called Five Guys in a Tree. There's a couple of castmates here, Greg Eardley and Matt Feldman, Andrew Rodding and Dean Reddington, shout out there. If you guys want to see that show, it's on VHS upstairs, so good luck finding it. But it was a great experience. The show was more than just a project. It was an opportunity for us to push our boundaries, think outside the box, and be creative in ways we never thought possible. We got to push our minds much further than the constraints of four walls in the classroom could ever allow. And that freedom to explore, to create, was all thanks to Mr. McDonough. His class did so much more than teach us how to operate cameras or write scripts. It opened our minds and expanded the way we thought, not just about TV, but about life. He made us understand the importance of being enthusiastic and passionate. We've heard those words a couple times here tonight, about whatever we choose to do. Ed's passion for what he did was contagious. When he spoke, you could feel his energy, and that energy pushed us to be our best, never settle to just be okay, but to strive for something that truly meant something. One of the greatest and probably my favorite gifts Mr. McDonough gave us was the ability to be authentic. In a world where so many people feel pressure to conform, he encouraged us to embrace who we really were and never be afraid to show that to the world. He taught us that it's not just about doing something well, it's about doing it with your whole heart, and that if you love what you do, and you can help others along the way, it makes it a lot easier to look that person in the mirror. Yourself, I mean, that kind of read weird. An example of this was when my mother asked Mr. McDonough how I was doing in class and what it was like to teach me. Without hesitation and with complete honesty, he looked my mother in the eyes and said, "Well, Mrs. Brown, it's Mike's way or the highway." You remember that one? While that phrase seems like it could have a negative connotation, he didn't actually mean it that way. He just allowed me to march at the beat of my own drummer, and he empowered all of us to become our own unique individuals, which is pretty cool. He also showed us to be fearless, especially when it comes to being in front of a crowd. There's a confidence that comes from being supported and empowered by someone who believes in you, and that's something Ed did for all of us. I've seen this over and over in my career and in my life. When you believe in someone or someone believes in you, it's insanely magical what can happen. Ceilings get shattered, records get broken. That confidence that Mr. McDonough gifted us not only shaped the work that we created, but the people we became or are becoming. So, Mr. McDonough, thank you. Thank you for being the teacher who didn't just teach us technical skills, but life lessons we carry with us every day. Your influence is not only felt in the work we do, but in the way we live our lives. Fearless, passionate, and true to ourselves. Wishing you all the best in the next chapter. You've earned it.
Greetings. I'm Greg McQuaid, and I'm a storyteller and news anchor at WTVR CBS 6 in Richmond, Virginia. I hope this finds all of you well. I wish I could be there this evening to celebrate Mr. McDonough, a man I have known nearly 40 years. I may be living in Virginia, but my roots stretch back to Somerville, Massachusetts. I'm a graduate of North Cambridge Catholic, where Mr. McDonough once taught. And if I may, I'd like to share a short story about a lesson Mr. McDonough shared so long ago that to this day still impacts me. It was Christmas time in 1986. I was a senior, and let's just say I was interested in anything but studying or paying attention in class. I did just enough to get by. One day, I was sitting in Mr. McDonough's religion class when he said, "We're going to watch a movie." My ears perked up. It was a movie up to that point I had never heard of, the iconic It's a Wonderful Life, the story of how one man, George Bailey, can impact countless others. Mr. McDonough popped the VHS tape in and hit play. It was a black and white film from 1946, and I couldn't care less. Mr. McDonough wasn't just filling time with a Christmas classic. A few days later, our dedicated teacher handed out a pop quiz on the movie. I failed. Fast forward about 4 or 5 years later, I watched It's a Wonderful Life again, And suddenly, Mr. McDonough's lesson from 1986 struck me like a bolt of lightning. In the film, Clarence the Angel says, each man's life touches so many other lives. In over 42 years, Mr. McDonough, you, my friend, are like George Bailey. It would be difficult to measure the impact you have had on the lives of your students, fellow teachers, and other human beings. To this day, I watch It's a Wonderful Life, shed a few happy tears, and think about Mr. McDonough and his lesson that eventually found its mark with this former student. Better late than never, I say. 11 years ago, Mr. McDonough wrote me and he said, quote, "Throw a stone in a pond and one never knows where the ripples go. We touch the future in so many ways, large and small. I hope you are still making ripples, and I'm honored to report that some of those in my past turned into waves." You may have stepped away from the classroom, Mr. McDonough, but those ripples you started will move across the water for a very long time. At the emotional end of It's a Wonderful Life, George Bailey's younger brother Harry, surrounded by so many people impacted by George's selflessness, raises a glass and delivers a memorable line. In the spirit of tonight's festivities, I'd like to take some liberties with that line. A toast to my former teacher, Ed McDonough, the richest man in town. Congratulations, Mr. McDonough. Thank you.
So we're about just an hour into this, just about. And if you haven't noticed, there's some really talented people from Canton High School. And future employers notice. But sometimes it does help just to have a little leg up when you're applying for jobs. And that's where networking comes in. It really helps to have someone else put in that good word for you. I've always said it's who you know that can help get you there, but it's what you know that will keep you there. Our next speaker helped me land an internship at the Pulse Network my senior year of high school, and now he's a senior producer for Kramer, a brand experience and content marketing agency. Here to talk even more about the power of networking, please welcome Pat Leonard.
Thank you, guys. Let's give it up for the band, guys. Good evening, everyone. My name is Pat Leonard, and I'm a 2005 graduate of Canton High. I'm currently a senior producer at Kramer in Norwood, right down the street, where I produce content for big brands like Vimeo, Google, Hasbro, Fidelity, UPS, Jordan's Furniture, and many more. Fellow Canton High students have also worked there in many capacities, one of which Joe Campagna, who isn't able to be here tonight because he's feeling a little ill, but both he and I work together very closely, and ironically, I'm actually his manager. So Joe, make sure in the office on Monday. From a young age, I was fascinated by video production. As I got older, I realized I'm a visual learner, and I turned to video because that was the best way for me to communicate ideas and stories. When I arrived at Canton High, I heard about the TV program and I couldn't wait to get involved, only to find out that at the time, it was only available to juniors and seniors. A bit disappointed but determined, I took my parents' advice and I introduced myself to the new TV teacher, Mr. McDonough. As a shy 14-year-old, I nervously walked into that classroom after school and I asked, "How can I get involved?" Without hesitation, he said, "Of course, have you ever operated a camera before?" That was the start of everything. I spent countless afternoons and evenings learning the ropes, operating cameras, editing footage from old hockey and football games, and learning the lingo. Around that time, CHS was under construction, and they received a grant for a whole new suite of Macintosh computers loaded with Final Cut Pro. I worked side by side learning this new skill set with Mr. McDonough and really sunk into the environment of editing. Looking back, I realized that by walking into the classroom that day, that changed the trajectory of my entire career. In this industry, putting yourself out there and networking is everything. You'd be surprised how small the production world is, and you run into familiar faces over and over and over again. Stay in touch with people you meet, classmates, mentors, colleagues, current or former coworkers, and reach out and ask questions and find ways to share your contact info. Also, please take advantage of the newly founded Canton High Media Network. As you heard tonight, a lot of talented individuals have started right in these very hallways, and I'm sure would be honored to connect. Share ideas, opportunities, or simply just ask for advice. Speaking of which, Kramer is hiring, so please reach out. Since meeting Ed McDonough 24 years ago, staying connected with him has led to many, many opportunities, internships, and jobs for some CHS students, including Kyla, who you just heard from, and also alum Dan Sheehy. It's always been important to me that I pay it back to the next generation of this industry. I'll end it with this. If it wasn't for, I can say this with the utmost confidence, if it wasn't for you, Mr. McDonough, I would not be where I am today. You're the true definition of a teacher, someone who wants nothing more than to see their students succeed from both a creative outlet or whatever passions they want to pursue. Mr. McDonough, congrats on your retirement, and thank you for everything, and I wish you the best in the next chapter.
Thank you, Pat. So as I was preparing for tonight, I was looking through a lot of old Canton community television videos, and I found an awards ceremony that I co-hosted in 2012. It was the year after I graduated. I co-hosted it with John Stigas, who's here tonight too. And two things caught my eye when I was watching this video. Number one, my Valley Girl cadence and frankly lack of ability to really enunciate my words. Hopefully I've gotten a little bit better since then. Number two, a big compliment from a very talented filmmaker. So during this awards ceremony, he said the work from Canton High always stands out. And it's why over the years, he's helped numerous students launch their own video businesses, and he also owns his own production company, BCN. Please welcome Kevin Friend.
Where's the teleprompter? Ed, I can't see you. There you are. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. As somebody who wasn't a student of yours, it's just such an honor to be here. There was many times I had a lot of your students in a car going off to a shoot, literally with a car full of Canton High students to go to one of the events that we produce. And we're there. When Ed retires, we're going to have a party. And to be here tonight and actually see it happen is a real joy. And it's only just beginning. As you, I forgot how we first met, and you had reminded me that we had done a project through the Norfolk County DA's office on drinking and driving. And I wasn't sure where to start, so I think that's how we connected, as you reminded me. And I can remember having a script, and we were on that first shoot, and it really wasn't going too well. So I was thinking, well, maybe we better wing it. So we had a great crew, and I said, kids, listen, just let's pretend we're at one of your parties, and you know, it's the beginning of a night, and see how this thing goes. And one of the students said, all right, you know, we'll roll the cameras and everything. And it was, you know, one of the famous lines of all time when the camera started rolling. He said, "I am hammered." And that video that we made wound up being mandatory viewing for every student in Massachusetts for about 7 years. So thank you. No matter where I am in my life on the planet, if I got a phone call, if the cell went off and I saw that it was Ed, I would take it, and which is unusual because I normally don't do that. I might be in the west coast of Ireland, and there it is. It's Ed McDonough. I'm going to take this call, and so it's always you answer the phone and it's, "Hey Kevin, how's it going?" You know. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And that's one of two things I want to talk about is your energy. The town of Canton, I'm not from Canton, I was raised in Sharon. I raised a family in Easton. And I've always thought the energy that you, as an educator, is a gift to the town of Canton. And that any student that came through Canton High School and was associated with your program, they were lucky. And the town of Canton has been very fortunate to have you as one of their teachers over the years. The second thing is your honesty. I've seen that through the many students that I've met through the externship program, which has been a wonderful program set up yourself and and Ed Amico. I don't know if Ed's here, but really, when somebody came in from Canton High School, I knew that I was going to get somebody who had energy and honesty, and you know, that's something rare in today's world. I think we need more of that. For you filmmakers that are in the room, you know, we need that. We need more courage, more honesty, and keep the energy. So that's really all I wanted to say. I will say this: may the road rise to meet you, and may the wind always be at your back. And I'm going to finish that toast at Trillium a little bit later. Take care, Ed.
Kevin, you forgot your glasses. Kevin, you need your glasses? I want you to be able to see the rest of the show. All right. The success of this next speaker is no surprise. As I was going through those old videos again, I think he starred in and created the majority of what I was able to find from around his time in high school. More recently, he worked on the Oscar-winning movie Anora as the assistant location manager. Pretty cool stuff. And he even had a small role in the film as a bouncer. And I'm also told he's known as the curator of cool, so I don't know, you guys can decide. Here to talk about his impressive career, please welcome Ben Wiseman.
Thank you, BT. How you guys doing tonight? Woo, woo, woo. The curator of cool was a name that Mr. McDonough gave me. I did not bestow that upon myself. Just wanted to say that first. I have a lot of pages here, but it's double spaced, so bear with me. Hello, everyone. It's the first thing I wrote. My name is Ben Wiseman, and I'm a professional film and television freelancer living in Harlem, New York. I graduated from Canton High in 2013, and I've carried Mr. McDonough's words of wisdom with me ever since. Mr. McDonough, as you already know, and what has been said over and over again, is beyond just a great teacher, mentor, and friend. He has poured his life into Canton High and its many students, and shares a track record to prove it. I'm standing in front of legends here, whether it's Emmy Award-winning reporters, television producers, directors, and myself, who's gotten to work on an Academy Award-winning film. We all have one thing in common, and that was being guided by the legend himself, Mr. McDonough. Mr. McDonough approached teaching on a case-by-case basis. If you really believed in yourself, he would alter his course to help you get the most out of it. And even if you didn't believe in yourself, he believed in you and made you a better person for it. I was fortunate enough to know what I wanted to do from an early age, and Mr. McDonough would allow me to express myself and make many music videos and my own projects during his class. One of the most important ones to me was Writer's Block, a short on how to write a short film that came in first place at the Hockomock Film Festival. It was based off a book titled The Short Screenplay by Dan Gurkis, and that Mr. McDonough recommended that to me. Gurkis at the time was the chair of Brooklyn College Film Department, and it was this book and Mr. McDonough's guidance that led me to going to Brooklyn College in New York City, and I am still in New York City to this day, thanks to him. One of the first things that Mr. McDonough teaches is something more that I'm so sorry. It is kind of nervous up here, but one of the things that Mr. McDonough teaches in this first class is how to coil a wire, doing the Statue of Liberty pose, over, under, and that's one of the most valuable things that I have learned in CHS, unfortunately. No, this is good school, good school. I was able to impress everyone on my first set with my coiling skills, a technical skill that I still use to this day. Mr. McDonough believes in networking and community, provided me with the career I have. I've worked on such shows as The Puppy Bowl, Carpool Karaoke, the Tony Awards, Succession, the inauguration of Joe Biden, Anora, and Marvel's Fantastic Four, and that's all thanks to networking. I haven't had to show my resume in the last 8 years, which is great. And also the networking that he provides with our students. When I was in high school, I got to work with John Cortizo. He gave me and the fellow students the opportunity to work hands-on with college-level equipment and talent without the insane price of tuition of Emerson College. Went to a state school, support public schools, let's go. And though I'm glad that I went to Brooklyn College as a way to get me to New York City, I often joke that I could have sat on my ass for 4 years and still gotten to the same level I am today, thanks to all the knowledge that Mr. McDonough provided me and the network of friends I made in his class. Dan Sheehy got me my first PA job, and through networking, over the last 8 years, I already said with that, but I did not have to show my resume. And I've lost track of my pages. But I was fortunate enough to attend 3 SDN trips with Mr. McDonough in places such as Dallas, Texas, Orlando, Florida, and finally sunny Los Angeles, California. We got to attend tapings of television shows, meet with industry professionals, actors, and of course make a special visit to the Johnny Cupcake store. I earned the nickname from him, the curator of cool. He once championed me for turning a baby shoe that I found on the ground into a phone case. Though I'm happy where I am today, I should have listened to him to patent that idea, because I would have been a lot richer. Freelancing and working on all these projects, I'm still in unemployment. So, and as the curator of cool, Mr. McDonough, I now deem you one of the coolest teachers, the best to ever do it. And though I was part of the 5-time Oscar award-winning film Anora, for some reason they wouldn't allow me on stage that day to give my speech. So here I am finally to say thank you. Thank you, Mr. McDonough, for all your guidance and dedication that you gave, not only to me, but all of your students. I wish you the very best in your next chapter. I hope you finally get the relaxation you deserve. You taught us that everyone has a story, and I'm so happy to be part of yours. And now, without further ado, I present you with the award for the best to ever do it, the officially retired Ed McDonough. Play me out, BT. Can I hear some band? Thank you.
Thank you for that. I also second all of the teachings of the wire foiling. I think I even do that with like my hair straightener and my blow dryer when I go on trips just to make it all nice and neat. Let's get to our next speaker. Let's see, where are we? All right, you're about to hear from one of my former classmates. He started his entertainment career with Disney right after high school and landed some DJ residencies on the Spirit of Boston. But music isn't his only passion. Through his company, Jam & Wizard, he's able to combine his love of music with his love of magic. Here is a special message from Mike Charles.
Hey everyone, thanks Kyla. Mr. McDonough, I'm thrilled to be joining you tonight through the magic of media. I hope you and all your guests are having an incredible time. In the entertainment industry, there's a term I've started to hear and become very fond of. It's known as giving flowers. Tonight, I would like to present you with a flower of your own. Remember, I'm a magician, not an artist. This flower is for your dedication and passion to not only the arts, but the burning desire to see your students succeed in and beyond the classroom as they transform into those who shape the future. You've given each student that's walked through your doors magic powers. The powers of storytelling and the ability to travel through time. These powers are stronger than any trick I could do because this allows us to bring back those who are no longer with us. Even if just for a moment, we can hear, see, and experience their presence.
My name is Michael Connerman. I'm here with Mike Charles, and to the 2010 South Sectional Final game. What would it mean to both of you if they got a win today?
It's a feeling that I don't think I'd be able to describe.
What a great job from my fellow classmates to get this win, and congratulations, and really enjoy it. And this is Michael Connerman here with Mike Charles for Canton Community Television.
Scott Kerr was a member of Coach Ford's class 2009, who was a really important member of that team that made it to the Garden against Newburyport. He was a very good player. He was an even better person.
January 16th, 1997. Dear Ernie, I am writing this long overdue letter of commendation to express my deep appreciation and that of the Canton School Committee for the almost 30 years of exceptional service which you have given to the Canton Public Schools. On the eve of my retirement, I would be remiss if I did not publicly recognize the contributions you have made as a teacher, as a coach, as the school system's cable television coordinator, and as the initiator of the Canton High School Spanish Student Exchange Program. Furthermore, in carrying on all of your activities, many of them simultaneously, you have invariably demonstrated a capacity for patience and exceptional good humor, which we might all envy. You have been and are an asset to the school system and an extraordinary help to me in my position as superintendent. It has been both a pleasure and an honor to have worked with you.
Tribute to honor some of our former classmates and teachers. Well, some would say at the heart of Boston is sports. I think everyone here has watched a Red Sox or Bruins game or just some type of professional sports in Boston, which means you have probably seen the camera work of this next speaker. He got his start on Canton Community Television and now works as a TV sports freelancer. Here's Bill Titus.
Hi, Bill Titus here at JetBlue Park in Fort Myers. I really wish I was up there with you guys honoring two very special gentlemen. The first one being Ernie St. Jean. Unfortunately, we lost Ernie, but he was one heck of a guy. Matter of fact, I had Ernie for 3 years of film and video. I was one of 3 students who actually went through all 3 years of it. And I learned a great deal from Ernie. He told me a good shot at that level was the same thing as a good shot in the pro level. And I've done a lot of pro sports, and he's absolutely right. He was very friendly, very funny, but when it was time to work, it was time to work, and Ernie let you know that. And at that time, video was so new, and Ernie had to keep up with it because every year it changed. And I'll tell you, I learned an awful lot from Ernie, and I will never forget him ever. The second gentleman, Ed McDonough, we had a different relationship. I was the program director at Canton Cable Access, and Ed was the teacher at CHS. So Ed and I bounced a lot of things off of each other. Hey, who can we get to do this? Who can we get to do that? And to keep kids interested in it was a, it was a job. But Ed picked out the good ones, and he got them interested. And when they came up into the truck, they did an outstanding job. They were well prepared. They knew what they were doing to a degree, but more importantly, they were willing to do the work. And that's a rarity these days. So I'm telling you, Ed McDonough has done so much for CHS and the town of Canton, and I'm very proud of him. I'm glad to say Ed McDonough is a special friend.
What do these people have in common? Sportscaster Bill Titus at Fenway Park. Reporter Kyla Gaylor at KVVU Las Vegas. Me, Dylan Lorenko of the JFK School. We all got our start on Canton Community Television, TV worth watching.
So we've heard from from a lot of people tonight, but we can't forget who is at the root of it all. Students. Students from all backgrounds and experiences, binded by similar passions. The students are who kept Mr. McDonough going for all these years. Our last speaker is a junior here at Canton High. You just saw years ago, he was in the Where Are They Now video that highlighted alumni. So he introduced me while I was a reporter back in Las Vegas, and it is now my pleasure to introduce him. Please welcome Dylan Lourenco.
Hello everybody, I'm Dylan Franco and I'm a junior here at Canton High School. As you guys just saw, that was a video of me from 5th grade and I was a cute kid. I'm a little bit nervous, but Mr. McDonough, I know you're going to love this. I started off here freshman year. He came up to me and he was like, "You were the kid from that video in 5th grade." Told him, "Yep," and he introduced me to the Eye in the Sky that we have here at Canton High School. And little did I know how much that would impact my life. I remember my first game I announced with Kevin Prake, and it was a volleyball game versus Oliver Ames. I wasn't the best, but I got used to it, and now I'm here, and I'm loving it so much, and it means absolutely everything to me. Mr. McDonough, I want to sincerely thank you for everything you've done for me. I remember my freshman and sophomore year, I wasn't the best student. I was averaging C's, D's, and I wasn't really having it. And sophomore year, he told me that I had to get it together. And this year, junior year, I locked in and I got it together, all for you, Mr. McDonough. And now I'm an honor roll student, all because of you. A lot of people like to look up to celebrities as role models. I would like to look up to Jack Edwards, who's an announcer for the Bruins. But I'd like to say that my role model is you, Mr. McDonough. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me and all of the people that have spoke today. You've impacted so many people's lives, including mine. And without you, I don't think I would ever want to be in television. So, Mr. McDonough, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you've done for me.
In America, public speaking is stated as the #1 fear.
In this class, I will be challenged to move out of my comfort zone to market myself to a personal brand.
Learn how to use this power of digital video in future endeavors.
By the end of this course, I will no longer be able to zone out while watching media.
I will scrutinize points of viewing.
Be able to identify flaws and embrace magical moments.
To be curious on how successful media is created.
To analyze how it was accomplished.
Going forward, I'll continually work on improving my own communication skills.
People who communicate well are always wanted in any profession.
To fulfill my potential.
I will strive to be prepared.
Pledge to continually work on improving my verbal and nonverbal skills.
Wow, public speaking may be the #1 fear.
I will work at bringing the truth to the FDR quote.
There is nothing to fear but fear itself. I can do anything that I set my mind on achieving.
The power of progress. It is so important to take a step back from your work and reflect. Sometimes you don't realize how far you've come. And that is what tonight is really all about. We're reflecting on a career, of course, the success of a TV program, and most importantly, the possibilities of the future. So now, without further ado, the man who spent 42 years teaching, more than half of which was here at Canton High School, the man who dragged us all here tonight, who frankly has way too much energy to be retired, please welcome Mr. McDonough.
It's a wonderful life.
It's a wonderful life, and I'm so privileged to have so many people come back and visit and send good, warm well wishes. But it's not about me, it's about we. As a community, we made this program. As a community, we supported each other. As a community, we propel it forward. That last clip you saw was inspired by people who came back who didn't go into the industry. To a person, they said, the communication skills we got gave us such a leg up on our classmates in college because we weren't afraid to raise our hand and talk. And these days, so many people aren't to their phone, as you saw I was when I walked into the wall the other day, that they forget to look up. And one of the things we like to teach is impulse control. Putting that phone down that's only been around for 20 years. The traffic light was invented 20 years after the first car came out. So we're just learning the etiquette of cell phones. But I'm learning from people before me. Kyla, I watched her do an episode, a news report out in Vegas where she was reporting as a solo journalist with a cell phone. And it proved to me, along with Mike NOONE, who did that phenomenal piece called Just Desserts with his little brother Joey, with his cell phone. And it dawned on me that there's power in your pocket. You don't need a TV network. You don't need to tell your story through someone else. You can write, you can record, you can edit, you can post, all from the power of your pocket. Now, these days, people aren't very discerning, and there's a lot of static out there, but you can tell your own story. And hopefully, if it's a good one, people will listen. Well, I'd like to say just such great thanks to the great Kent community that has supported this program. I stand on the shoulders of Ernie St. Jean. He was a phenomenal guy. He really helped me get my start. And I'd like to introduce the person who's going to be taking over. And could Alessandra come up? Hopefully she's still in the building. Oh, awesome. Sorry, we were really good with our speakers. We gave them some clear instructions, and she was setting up upstairs, and I didn't connect with her. So I have a gift for you, and I'd like you to open up in front of everyone.
Okay. No pressure.
It's a pair of my old shoes. And I don't want you to wear those shoes. They won't fit you. They'll give you blisters. You need to throw them out. And what I ask you to do is to support her in that. When I came here, I didn't know all that much. I learned a lot in the job. This person is already trained. You know, we went to STN all those years. Well, her teacher over in Norwood, Jeb Brunt, he was eventually the judge for STN conventions. And when she graduated high school, he hired her to come on and help him, flies her around the world judging contests. She's a phenomenal independent filmmaker. She has so many great skills. When I go into the classroom now, I'm shocked at the classroom control and accountability she has. And I know people might chafe that it's a little bit tight, but she'll loosen up over time, and she already is. But what I ask from you is to give her the grace of 5 years that I had to stop hearing, well, Ernie did. And that's life, you know, the people before you helped you get along, but I really predict that you're gonna have a phenomenal career here, and I ask you guys to help support her. I don't know if you wanna say a few words.
Thank you. Well, thank you for the shoes and for giving me permission to not keep them. I'm sure they smell great, though. It is so wonderful to be here and to be in a room with all of these people who have so many happy memories. It is of the utmost importance, not just in this industry, but in this world, that we keep our focus on community. I could not be more thrilled to be joining a community as strong as this one that comes from a foundation as strong as Ed McDonough. I hope that everyone in this room, past and present students, keep in touch. You are always, always welcome here. Some of you predate me, and I hope that you will keep in touch regardless of this. Anyone who wants to be here, wants to come in, take a visit, your old stomping grounds are always open to you. Thank you to Ed for welcoming me with open arms. When I found out this job was open, I was able to reach out to him directly. He had me come and visit an Eye in the Sky shoot, and he told me that he hoped I got the gig, and here we are. I really, really could not be more thrilled. So thank you all for being here tonight, and for your grace as I settle into this new role at our favorite time of year.
So now for the future. There was no admission tonight, but if you care, or if you can, and if you're able, I recommend you make a donation to the Canton High television program. You can send a check into the office, make it payable at Town of Canton Television Production in the memo, and we can keep this ball rolling. And I'm so, so grateful to the many people who sent me notes via Twitter or via LinkedIn or via personal letters. And those who can't make it today, there's so much going on, and they said they were very kind and sent their best wishes. And people watching literally from around the world. And so my last three thanks are, first of all, to the band. Let's give it up to them. They did a phenomenal job. They performed, I believe, in a competition today over in Norwood High, so they were busy all day long, yet they stayed another day and showed that tenacity and grit that's going to make them very successful in their careers. I'd like to thank Erica Berman, who really stepped up and came in last minute and did things like the poster and got things together. Kyla Gaylor saved the day. She really crafted this night, hammering into us, we have to tighten it up, you have to cut this, you have to chop it down. And we got, I hope, a good type program, and I hope you enjoyed it. For those who weren't able to come, I know where your hearts are, and I thank you for the warm wishes. And let me see who else I need to thank. I need to thank Derek Folan for his support over time. There's people out in the audience that I haven't seen in a while. Larry Silverman, he installed one of our first setups here. And he's the one who cued me on the fact that I wasn't just teaching video, I was telling story. And I leaned into that, and you're seeing the fruits of that feedback. I apologize if I'm leaving you out. There's just so many great people here. Ann in the back, who runs the lights and worked with Peter, who's an amazing technician upstairs, who helped craft this program, and all the people who put the hard work. I thank you. So, in any old case, on with the show. I wish you well, and it's really nice that every day is a Saturday. I recommend retirement highly. Thank you.